I just wanted to do a little episode on 5 one-handed snacks that you can eat while you're breastfeeding or in your postpartum period that will nourish you, and also have a little chit chat about whether there's actually anything you can do to increase milk supply while breastfeeding. Just going to make a little kappa first. I've already had my machine coffee for today, so try not to go too heavy on the caffeine. And that is one little side note. If you are breastfeeding, you can still have caffeine in your diet. I would probably recommend sticking to around that 200 milligrams to 300 milligrams so that it doesn't affect your baby's irritability. But each baby and mum is different, so just monitor your own baby. But that 200 milligrams that we say is safe for pregnancy is generally the best target for postpartum and breastfeeding as well. All right, let's have a little cuppa together and just chit chat quickly about some easy, nourishing snacks to have in your postpartum period, particularly if you're breastfeeding, but this will still apply if you are not. I am currently 18 months postpartum with my second, and I am still breastfeeding, and these are some things that I found to be the easiest in those first few months where it is hard. You're sleep deprived, you have limited time because Bubba is constantly needing you, and you just want something quick and easy because otherwise you'll be going for the easy snacks that you prefer not to be doing. Now, breastfeeding is a hungry thing. If you've ever sat down and felt ravenous, it is because your body is requiring a lot more of you so that you can produce that milk for your baby. And it means that your energy demands increase, your protein demands increase, and even your hydration needs increase. Quick caveat, most breastfeeding mums will require an extra 300 to 500 calories per day during this time, particularly in that first 6 months where your baby is really dependent on your breast milk and doesn't have food as well. And most women will require increased hydration because you are producing, if you think about it, you are producing approximately 800 millilitres per day of breast milk to feed your baby. So you need to replace that for your own hydration. So a good aim is approximately 3 litres, but just drink to your thirst and always have a big water bottle handy. I'll show you what I loved during the early days. A simple big one like this was my favourite. This one's just from Kmart and it had a straw as well, and honestly, that worked a treat. But whatever works for you, even if you've got water bottles all throughout the house, just keep it simple. And the other recommendation I would have is to have a little caddy or a few of them in different areas of your house where you have, say, some convenient options, some muesli bars, maybe a water bottle. You're going to get trapped, so a book or something, and then your nappies, etc. And that will just be a lifesaver in the early postpartum fog. Okay. First snack that is super easy is to make yourself some energy nut oat balls. So this will provide you with a little bit of protein, some nutrients, some fibre, which is particularly important in the postpartum period, and some energy. And you could either make your own, or there is a supermarket option such as Smooshed or similar options like that for when you are in a hurry. The good news is Bliss balls are super easy to make, and I will write a few recipes in the description of this video to get you started. Snack number 2 would be yogurt/smoothies. So, I mean, You can still have your yogurt with one hand, but that combination will keep you really satisfied with the fats, protein, and you could add some granola or some nuts and seeds, or you could take it to the next level with the one-handedness and buy some pouches to just literally grab and go. You could up-level this again by making your own smoothie at home, so that way you could even add some like collagen protein powder, some more, milk, fruit to make it a bit higher in that protein and energy. Or you can also get some easy options like these protein smoothies from the supermarket, and there is now quite a few brands doing them, such as Paul's, Rockby Farms, etc. Snack number 3 would be more like a little mini platter where you have some boiled eggs, or you can make some egg muffins ahead of time and freeze them, or boil some eggs at the start of the week, and then some cheese and crackers. And these little picky plates can be quite good if you're stuck feeding, because you could just have it and nibble on it while you breastfeed. Snack number 4 would be a nut bar. You either make it yourself or you get one from the shops. If you're getting one from the shops, aim for one that has a protein of 10 grams or more. If you're making one at home, do a nice combination of a few different nuts, some seeds, and adding in that honey, etc., to make it a good protein energy combo. The other option would just be to simply get some mixed nuts and make your own little trail mix. That would be super easy. And you could even, just thinking about this now, you could even pre-portion them into little containers, and that could go into your little caddy or your breastfeeding bag ready to go. Oh, that's actually such a smart idea. I wish I did that. And then snack number 5 would be at the start of the week, you could pre-cut some veggie sticks, and you could buy the little mini hummus and have that with some crackers. Fiber, protein, nutrients in. Another thing you could even do is honestly just have like a tin of tuna and some crackers. That was always an easy go-to for me when I could not be bothered in my early postpartum days. It doesn't need to be hard when you're thinking about postpartum snacks, just something that gets your energy needs met, your protein needs met, and you get a little bit of nutrition from the micronutrients. But I feel like in the first few months, we really just want to focus on hitting your macronutrients so that it doesn't affect your health, and it also can help maintain breastfeeding production as well. Okay, one of the biggest questions I get is, can anything we eat or drink help to increase our milk supply? But the main thing that actually helps with your milk supply is how the breast milk is effectively removed from the breast. So that comes down to more how much is getting removed, how many pumps, how many feeding sessions are you having in that demand supply harmony, and does baby have a good latch? Is there anything going on in terms of tongue ties, etc.? Any other implications that are causing baby to not want to feed, like allergies, blah, blah, blah. Whereas nutrition probably has a very small portion of being able to affect your milk supply. The one thing I will say is that you want to make sure you're having enough energy and you are nourishing yourself correctly, because if you are in an extreme calorie deficit, the body will go into a bit of survival mode, and that would be one of the things that would be impacted because it's trying to make you survive. So it's going to limit breastfeeding in order to help with everything else. So at the end of the day, the more effectively your body removes the milk in that supply-demand harmony, the more your body makes. No lactation cookies are going to override that, unfortunately, as much as they market it to us as they do. They are just a little sweet treat at the end of the day. Sorry. But let's discuss a little bit about the current research on galactagogues. Galactagogues. Who knows if I'm saying that right? But we will roll with that. Essentially, galactagogues are those milk boosting foods, herbs, natural things. So one of the ones that is termed a galactagogue is oats. Research suggests that the beta-glucan molecule in oats may support prolactin, which is a hormone in the breastfeeding mechanisms, but the data is limited. I think that oats are a great source of energy, a great source of carbohydrates and fuel, so that also may play a role, and that is why they are a great option to include in your postpartum diet. The next one is fenugreek, and the evidence on this is mixed. It can cause some tummy upsets, and this one I would suggest you could try it, but just take slow, and if you have any medications or anything like that, it's probably best to talk to someone in your team first. Another one on the list is the herb moringa, which does show potentially a little bit of promising research in this realm, and there was some research that suggested some modest increases in milk volume. So this could be an option to include in your diet if you feel called to it. They do have some, let me see, is there any moringa teas? Let me have a look. Moringa tea. Just had a look. It looks like you can get a few. This one doesn't seem to be as popular in Australia as of yet, but there are a few places where you can get some moringa powder tea, or on some international sites you can get some moringa tea. So do with that what you will. The other one that is quite traditional, and I see this in a few teas anyway that are available in Australia, is fennel. And this is one of those traditional ones that they have used in the past for increasing milk supply. You often hear about fennel as being one of those ones. This would be nice in a combination tea. So I feel like, if you are someone who wants to increase your milk supply, there's no harm in having some of these things within limits. I wouldn't go for any excessive doses, and maybe just go for something that's a nice balance, like this one is a higher living organic tea, and if we look at it, it's got a nice combination. So have a nice calming tea. It will also help with your hydration. So who knows if it's a combination of all these things that then helps get your milk supply back to where it should be if you are having a bit of a down regulation. Next on the list, lactation cookies. Oi, 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 what a marketing storm lactation cookies are. So there has actually been a randomised control trial which found no significant increase in supply versus placebo. I think there can be a nice snack. You could easily make something similar at home for a lot less cost, but time is also a part of the equation here, and enjoy. And they're a beautiful thing to buy for other people too. I think that's a nice little postpartum gift, like a nice pack of lactation cookies, some, hydration drinks. That would be a really nice present to get someone. And the last one that I always see is brewer's yeast, and often you'll find this in lactation cookies. It is rich in B vitamins, which is great for energy, but there is no solid evidence that it increases milk supply or volume, and it has quite a distinct taste, and it can also result in some bloating or gassiness. So I would just, if you're making your own lactation cookies, by all means, put some oats in there, put some brewer's yeast, but make them also taste nice as well. If you are worried about supply, my number one advice would be to link in with a lactation consultant and make sure it is a IBCLC, because they're the ones that do the extra training in this area. And it also just comes down to prioritising frequent, comfortable milk removals, especially in the early days. That's what dictates your supply and demand. Check in with your latch and positioning, and it all kind of feeds into it. So that's the main thing. And then there's nutrition, there's sleep, and there's stress, which can also impact it. My tips for you would be link in with your lactation consultant, chat to a dietitian to make sure you're eating enough, and if you are worried, you could also chat in with your GP or doctor as well. So there you go. Those 5 easy snacks would be Bliss or energy balls, Greek yogurt or smoothies. We've got nut bars or trail mix. You've got a little picky plate of boiled eggs or a egg muffin with some cheese and crackers. And then you've also got some hummus and veggie sticks, or just simply a can of the old tuna and some crackers. Keep it simple. It is a crazy, crazy time, and at 18 months postpartum, I am only now starting to feel like myself again. So just know that you've just got to ride the waves. You are doing a fantastic job. And if you have any questions, pop them down below. And I'll see you soon.